Is everybody ready? Do you all have your 3D glasses? I don't think the audience got any 3D glasses. 3D glasses not available in all areas.
Welcome back. Today we're talking about the 3D offset re-release from Hammer. It's the 25-year anniversary since the original was released in 1997, and we've packed this new release with a bunch of technology to help you match up better to today's slicker oil conditions. But before we get into all the details, I have some shameless self-promotion. I'm now on TikTok at Buckosh, where I'm making succinct 1-minute reviews of our newest products. So if you like an abridged version of these long-form videos that I'm doing on YouTube and on Facebook, make sure you follow me on TikTok. And of course, like, subscribe, and share across all 3 platforms to make sure that other people are able to see these videos as well. Now what you're really here to hear, let's talk about the 3D offset. Starting back in 1997 with Fabal and the original Hammer 3D offset that was designed by Mo Pennell, you remember that Fabal was a little bit on the rocks financially, and this ball, especially this core design, was a practical overnight success when it came out. This one was basically on all the racks, like one on every rack in 1997 and 1998. It even won Ball of the Year for 1997, if you're wondering about the importance of the shape of this ball and the technology involved. Because this one, if you remember, had the hot spot. That's basically the precursor to what we now know as the mass bias. And it really changed the ball rolled. It was unique enough that it turned heads. And realistically, it made Hammer what Hammer is today. I'm not sure Hammer would be in the industry, especially in the capacity and the strength that it is right now, if it not for the 3D offset. I can't think of a better time than the 25-year anniversary to re-release this ball, and it's also a nice homage to my dear late friend and of course core guru and effectively mentor of mine, Mo Pennell, who designed the original. So I'm super honored and touched to be able to design this new core. What we've done is we've made this core a single density inner body. We've modified the specs of the inner core to make sure that it matches up a little better to today's oil conditions. That requires a little bit of intermediate differential and a pretty high total differential. The numbers of this core, 2489 min RG with an 053 total differential for plenty of flare potential and an 008 intermediate differential. That 008 intermediate differential is on the low side for an asymmetrical ball. Basically, it's going to give you just a little more kick off the back of the lane than a typical symmetrical ball. It's wrapped with carbon fiber infused outer core technology to give you harder hitting power, and it's wrapped with the NeoFlex 25 cover stock. This is a new cover stock blend in the Hammer lineup that pays an homage to the original cover that was on the original. It's the best blend that we've got to make the original shape of the original 3D offset, but this one of course is built to handle more total oil volume and slicker modern conditions. Without delay, now I'm going to take you to a comparison chart and show you how this 3D offset stacks up with the rest of the current Hammer lineup. As you know by now, this chart contains every release in the Hammer lineup for an entire year, including some staples that are always in the lineup like our Purple Hammer and our Raw series balls. They're sorted by oil volume on the bottom, from lightest on the left side of the chart to heaviest on the right side of the chart, and by response to friction, with the sharpest responding balls toward the top of the chart and our smoothest responding balls toward the bottom of the chart. You'll notice that the 3D offset is highlighted in yellow. After being able to consider the shapes and review all the players that have thrown these balls, I made some alterations to this area of the chart. The Obsession Tour has gone down and the Infamous has moved up in terms of the response to friction, so I've effectively flipped those two in terms of the height on the chart. Basically, what I'm saying is, even though the Infamous is a symmetrical ball with no intermediate diff, the way the high RG core and the strong cover pairing work with each other, that ball's a little cleaner and noticeably sharper off the friction than the Obsession Tour. I thought the intermediate diff of the Obsession Tour would give it the advantage at the back of the lane, but that super smooth cover blend and the lower diff overall means that the Obsession Tour is simply a little bit smoother. Enter the 3D offset. This ball is basically the big brother of the Obsession Tour. Even though there's slightly less intermediate diff built into this ball, the new NeoFlex 25 cover takes care of making sure this ball is strong and continuous from the mid lane to the pins. This ball definitely contains more flare potential than the Obsession, which only has a 34 total differential. At 0.53, the 3D offset definitely allows this ball to cover more ground. It definitely sticks to the mid lane well and continues off of it. Basically, if you love the look of the Obsession Tour, but you wish it had more strength overall, was able to cover more boards overall, or you could simply throw it through more head oil, then your prayers have been answered. The 3D offset is where you need to look. I think the 3D offset has the potential to sell on heritage and nostalgia alone, but I'm really proud to say that the motion speaks for itself. By now there's plenty of videos out in the field, so if you'd like to see the motion of this ball, make sure you check it out. The comments I've been getting are that this ball is a little rounder overall than people expected, but to be fair, at a 0.08 intermediate differential, this ball is almost symmetrical. It still shapes a little more overall than the other symmetrical sanded balls in the lineup like the Scorpion. Having that added intermediate diff makes this what I would call a bridge ball, where it's not quite as smooth as you would expect a strong sanded solid to be, but it's also not quite as flippy as your strongest intermediate diff balls, such as the Black Widow series. That's the information I have on the re-release of the 3D offset available in pro shops worldwide right now. I want to hear your stories. If you had an original 3D offset, tell me about your successes with it. How many did you have? How long did you have one? If you were too young to have one, like me, are you going to try this new one? Let me hear what you've heard about it. I am happy to respond in the comments below, so feel free to drop a comment about anything related to the Hammer products below. And of course, make sure you check back often because I make new videos as new releases from the brands of Brunswick come out. Until next time, thanks for watching.